What you are feeling right now is not just memory. It's attachment trying to make sense of your loss. God says what you experienced wasn't just heartbreak. It was a revelation. There are moments in life where someone doesn't just leave your life. They leave a space that your emotions struggle to let go of. And that's where the battle begins. Because your mind keeps replaying what happened, your heart keeps remembering what it felt like, and your spirit is trying to move forward while your soul is still holding on. But hear this clearly, not everyone you miss is meant to return, and not every connection that left was a loss in God's eyes. Amen. You say they broke me, I still think about them. And God says, yes, but I also carried you through it. Because the fact that you are still here, still breathing, still seeking clarity is proof that what tried to destroy you did not succeed. Amen. And God says, what you are walking through now is the process of detaching without losing yourself. Because sometimes the strongest chains are not physical, they are emotional. Invisible ties formed through time, shared moments, and unspoken expectations. And even after the person is gone, those ties can linger in the background of your thoughts, not because they still belong in your life, but because your heart once gave them a space it is now learning how to release. And God is working with you in that space. Not rushing you, not condemning you, but guiding you through a gradual return to yourself. Because if you look closely, you are not who you were when they were still in your life. You are becoming more aware, more reflective, more cautious with your emotions, more intentional with your time and energy. That is not coincidence. That is growth being formed through experience. And God says, you are learning how to stand without leaning on what was never meant to hold you permanently. Amen. You are learning how to think without being influenced by what once occupied your mind daily. You are learning how to exist fully without needing their presence to validate your worth. And yes, the thoughts still come, memories still surface, moments still replay. But notice this carefully. You are no longer trapped inside those thoughts. You are observing them, recognizing them, and slowly loosening your grip on them. That is evidence that something in you has already begun to shift. Because what once felt like something you couldn't live without is now something you are learning how to live beyond. Amen. And that transition is not easy, but it is necessary. God says, I did not allow that connection to define your future. I allowed it to reveal where your heart had become dependent in ways that needed correction. And now the question is no longer, why did they leave? But rather, what am I becoming now that they are gone? Because in their absence, you are being redirected back to yourself, back to your focus, back to your purpose, back to the parts of your life that were neglected while you were emotionally invested elsewhere. And slowly, without forcing it, you are starting to rebuild, not overnight, not perfectly, but genuinely. And God says, this is where your strength is being restored in a way that dependency could never produce. Because when you no longer rely on a person to feel whole, you begin to discover a stability within yourself that is not easily shaken. So even though you still think about them, do not mistake that as a sign to return. See it as part of the process of letting go completely while you are being rebuilt internally. You are not going backwards. You are moving through something that is shaping you into someone more grounded, more aware, and more aligned with what is truly meant for you. Amen.